The look of film is something that most filmmakers strive for when creating the look for their images. It's not just colour, it's the feeling and the irreplaceable texture. Film emulation bridges the gap between the nostalgic and the digital worlds. While shooting on film can be expensive and out of reach for most, emulating it has never been more accessible. For the longest time now, I've been using Dehancer to grade my footage. It's been my secret weapon in a way, specifically when trying to emulate prints such as Kodak 2383 or Fuji 3513, and of course film stocks such as Kodak Vision 3. Dehancer did reach out to me and asked that I review the plugin, so thank you so much guys for doing that. Full transparency though, I have actually purchased the plugin well over a year ago now, so long before any of this collaboration happened. And they did pass on to me some extra licenses, not that I need them because I've already bought the plugin, but they did also give me a 10% discount code to pass on to you guys should you want to buy the plugin. They did ask for my honest opinion, so they get no say in what goes off in this video. It's just the brutal, honest truth. I come from a music video and a live session background, so I work with a lot of artists who are up and coming and they don't have a lot of budget, so Dehancer is a way for me to instantly level up the footage in a way that looks like film but doesn't come with the costs of shooting on film. For me, that's an absolute game changer straight off the bat. So I'm not an expert on how film works and all the little nuances and things like that, but from what I can tell, Dehancer does a really good job of replicating the look, and not only that, but it's really customizable. You can dial in just how much grain or halation you want. You can push and pull the film stock, and you can mix and match with different film prints all in real time. So not only is there a massive library of print and film stocks, there are loads of texture tools in there as well. You can add gate weave, film damage, bloom, grain, halation, and most recently I think in 7.1 you can add overscan, which just pushes the vintage look even further. And speaking of texture, one of my favourite ways to use Dehancer is by applying grain. Just because there's the film resolution slider which directly links to the amount of grain that you apply. It's all on sliders, super customizable, but the more grain you add, the softer your image gets, and it's just a really kind of nice tactile feedback kind of way that just kind of makes sense, if that makes sense. And I just prefer that instead of like adding grain, then going to the blur tab to reduce the actual sharpness of the image. I just think it looks way nicer and it's a lot faster. You can work in Dehancer as just a single node if you really wanted to. You've got all the normal colour grading tools available, such as colour head, which is basically your printer lights, your tint and temperature if you need to do any colour correction. So you can do it all in one. While that's all well and good, I do prefer to do all of my basic adjustments and all that stuff before hitting Dehancer, so that's more just like the icing on the cake for me, but you can if you wanted to. And I think the great thing about Dehancer is that you can really use it in any way you want. Yes, it is called Dehancer, so it sounds like it's old and vintage, but you can use it to create some really strong, great looking modern looks. But do I think you should use it on every single project imaginable? No. Which brings us to the cons. So the first one is very specific to my use case, and it's because of my computer. But Dehancer is an absolute beast in terms of resources. It demands so much from your machine. If you don't have a fully spec'd up computer, do not expect Dehancer to run in real time or play back your footage in real time. It's bad. It's really bad. For example, here's my computer specs, and here's how Resolve runs when I've got Dehancer applied. It's really, really bad. That said, it is all relative to what effects you've got on there. Some are a bit more resource heavy than others. Your texture effects, I think, are the worst culprits for it. So your grain, halation, gate weave, all of that stuff are going to cause your computer to seize up more than just applying a film look, for example. But if you are a professional and you've got like the client in the room and they're watching the footage back and it's choppy, it doesn't look good. So you do really need a spec'd up machine to run Dehancer efficiently. I think the overall build and appearance of the plugin is great. I think there's so many tools and options to just customize it in any which way you see fit. But I think if you're new to color grading and you open Dehancer for the first time, it's so overwhelming because it's just everything there all at once. So if you are new to color grading, I do think it might take you a little while just to get your head around what all the different options are and what all the different tools do. But if you are struggling, Dehancer has loads of training material on their website for you to check out. Another strange choice, and this is really nitpicky, but it's something that I wanted to bring up, is when you're using the presets on your texture tools. So you can see on the grain tools, there's got all the different size films and ISOs, and clicking each one will give you a different look, but you can't customize it. To change it, you need to click back on the preset, change it to custom, and that is that preset, and only then can you slide it around. It really should be that you've got all of those tools available, but the preset changes these sliders around, and only then when you move the sliders yourself, it changes automatically to custom at the top. You shouldn't have to click the preset, then click custom to get those tools. Just seems a little bit daft, but I thought I'd raise it up just as feedback for Dehancer so they can maybe change it going forward. Please change it going forward. Lastly, depending on where you're at with your color grading, Dehancer can be pretty expensive. If you're just getting into it and you're trying to learn a bit more, it's a big investment to make. The full Pro lifetime package costs $449, which is a lot of money. But they do offer different tiers. You can buy it for a period of time, or you can buy the light package, or you can just buy the texture tools individually. You do get 2 seats with Dehancer when you buy it, which is cool. If you've got 2 editing setups, you can pop it on both of those. Or if you've got a friend that you want to do halvesies with and make it a little bit cheaper, you can do that as well. I will say though that with the licenses, if you buy it for Resolve, you can't put it on Premiere Pro, for example, or Final Cut, which is a bit annoying. So you do need to buy the licenses specific to the application you're using, but typically you're probably just going to be color grading in one app anyway. So I don't think that's a con, but it is something to be aware of. Dehancer have also recently released their iOS app, so if you're on the go and you're making social content, whatever, you've got all the features of the plugin now in your phone, which is cool. And the app honestly reminds me a little bit of Lightroom in a way. I don't know if I can say that or not, but it does. Specifically with how you apply the effects, you've got all the presets for your different film stocks and looks and all of that. And if you don't want the specific effect or the specific look, you just tap on it and it turns off, which is really cool. The price for the app is pretty high and it is subscription based as well. I'll put the price somewhere around here just so you can see what it is. But there is a 1-week free trial that you can have a go at, no strings attached, just to see if you do like the app or not. So to wrap this all up, do I think Dehancer is worth it? Absolutely yes. I love Dehancer so much, despite all of its weird issues and quirks, problems with my machine. Yeah, I love it. It's like a cheat code for me, honestly. And although I've not been at this channel for long, going into it I said should the opportunity ever arise, I would never promote products or things that don't actually interest me or that I don't find useful or that you would find useful. And like I said, I bought Dehancer long before they contacted me with my own money and I loved it. So the fact that they've reached out to me and they've given me the opportunity to actually tell you guys about it is really cool. So thank you guys, Dehancer, for sponsoring this video. And if you're not completely sure and you're not ready to pull the trigger just yet, Dehancer do offer 1 week's free trial of the plugin. It includes all of the film print emulations, all of the print stocks, all of the texture tools, just so you can have a play with it and see what you think before you do actually buy. And that's all for today. Thank you again to Dehancer for sponsoring this video. It's super cool that you've done that because I use the plugin all the time. But for you guys, if you like the video, hit the like button. If you've learned something or seen something you like, hit the subscribe button and I shall see you in the next one. Peace.